Welcome back to the Malaysia Money Matters show. It's the 15th of October 25.
Great to be here.
Today, we're doing our fast and thorough deep dive into the latest corporate, economic, and political news.
And looking at the impact on the market today, our mission, as always, is to cut through the noise for you.
Okay, let's jump right in. The big story has to be the Genting situation. Genting's put out a conditional voluntary offer for Genting Malaysia at RM2.35 a share.
Yeah, and it's really split the analysts right down the middle.
How so?
Well, on one side, you've got analysts saying, hold on, RM2.35 undervalues GENM. They're pointing to specific catalysts.
Like the Miami land revaluation.
Exactly. That could potentially add, what, 55 cents to fair value? And then there's the New York casino license bid.
Another potential 48 cents. So combined, that's over a ringgit potentially left on the table.
Precisely. But then on the flip side, other analysts are saying, look, take the offer.
Why accept if it might be undervalued?
Because it's an exit opportunity. RM2.35 is actually above their target prices in some cases. It's a way to, lock in a price now rather than wait for those catalysts that might not happen soon or at all.
Removes the risk, basically. Interesting dynamic. Okay, shifting to expansion plans. CB Cakaran has some big ambitions.
Oh, yeah. RM 100 million over 5 years. They want to go from 25 retail outlets to 100, plus expanding Kyros Kebab.
But the really strategic move seems to be acquiring Cargill Feeds operations.
Absolutely. That's the game changer. It gives them control over their feed supply, cost-effective, reliable. Its vertical integration really helps the bottom line and diversifies revenue.
We're also seeing movement in infrastructure. MRT Corp is inviting bids for the Penang LRT MUTR line.
Right, the main civil works package for the sea crossing viaduct. And let's not forget the revised project ceiling is RM 16.8 billion. Big numbers.
And big projects mean big challenges. Look at the ECRL contractor, China Communications Construction.
Yeah, over 32 cases of cable theft since June alone. That's more than RM 3 million in losses. They've got to ramp up security, which adds costs.
A few other corporate updates. Southern Cable Group planning a big share placement, RM 259.2 million.
They're aiming to boost cable and wire output by 25% and triple their aluminium rod capacity by end 2027. Clearly betting on future demand, aiming for 30% overseas revenue too.
And Sapur Industrial is moving into EV components.
That's right. A joint venture with a Singapore firm to make lithium battery precision parts right here in Malaysia. Strategic move into a growing sector.
Quick legal and finance updates. Good news for Grab. They avoided that huge RM 86.77 million fine. The federal court rejected MyCC's appeal.
Yep. And a warning from MAA Group about K&M Group that RM 100 million lifeline really hinges on selling their German unit by October 30th. It's cutting it close.
On a more positive note, Maybank IB thinks Valesto Energy could be looking at bigger dividends.
Potentially. They suggested maybe 3 cents per share annually. That translates to around a 12% yield, which is quite attractive, backed by strong free cash flow, apparently.
Okay, let's broaden out to the Malaysian economic picture. 1MDB recovery efforts continue.
And they're making progress. Over RM 20.7 billion recovered so far from institutions like Goldman Sachs, AmBank, JP Morgan, all going into the Asset Recovery Trust account.
And the ringgit's performance, it's been strengthening.
Up 5.8% year to date. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim actually mentioned this as fueling more overseas travel. Thailand, Japan are popular.
Which puts pressure on domestic spots.
Exactly. Prompting efforts to look at costs in places like Langkawi make them more competitive.
On the policy front, the climate change bill seems to be delayed.
Yes, for more direct talks with industries, especially about things like a potential carbon tax, they want more engagement before tabling it.
Meanwhile, enforcement is tightening elsewhere. MOT and JPJ have launched this war on overloaded commercial vehicles.
Sounds serious. Repeat offenders could lose their permits entirely. Definitely a crackdown.
And some political news. Bersatu expelled Wan Saiful Wan Yan and suspended Wan Ahmad Faisal for a term. Internal party matters bubbling up.
Seems like it. Internal tensions playing out there.
Now let's pull the lens back to the global stage. The U.S.-China trade friction is heating up again.
Yeah, with these new tit-for-tat port fees on shipping firms, that could immediately start messing with global freight flows, creating distortions.
And what's the broader economic outline? The IMF actually upgraded its 2025 growth forecast slightly.
To 3.2%, yes. But, and this is a big but, they warned that sweeping U.S. tariffs and rising protectionism are dimming the long-term prospects significantly.
What about commodities? Oil, specifically.
Well, the IEA is predicting a huge oil market glut by 2026, like a 4 million barrels per day surplus.
Wow. Why such a big surplus?
It's a combination of increased supply coming online and slower demand growth due to macro conditions, and importantly, to shift towards electric vehicles.
Okay, finally, let's touch on tech and finance. Crypto markets took a hit.
A big one. Shed about US $150 billion. Bitcoin slumped to around $111,500. Seems linked to those renewed US-China trade jitters.
But traditional finance is doing okay.
Surprisingly well, actually. Major banks like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan beat profit estimates. Investment banking and trading seem to be rebounding nicely.
Yet there's caution in the air, particularly around AI.
Definitely. That Bank of America poll is telling 54% of global fund managers now think AI stocks are in a bubble. So even as banks do well, there's nervousness about tech valuations.
So a real mix today. We see major local expansion plans like the LRT and Southern Cable's bet, but at the same time, global trade worries and market caution, like with the Genting deal and that AI bubble sentiment.
Absolutely. A lot of moving parts for investors to track.
That wraps up our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.
Make sure you subscribe to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast for all the essential insights you need. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.